Are you sure you want
Yeah.
this up with your face looking like that?
I mean, whatever.
Give me a topic then. Let's talk about something.
Oh God. You want to hear my grand theory finally?
What does that mean? Your grand theory.
I always say it. I always say that I have a grand
I
theory.
have a great theory, but like
it relates to
okay.
it relates to our place in the universe.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Go.
Do you want to hear the grand theory?
I want to hear the grand
All right,
theory.
people, get ready to be enlightened, listeners.
This is so weird.
Hold on, I gotta find a proper place for this. God, I'm not high or anything, guys. I'm just tired.
This is just this is what did you say before? You were like, this is what the listeners don't get to see. Well, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Here we go. Look at my nose. I like Squidward's house. Okay, my grand theory. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I don't know if I want to share this actually.
No. Come on, do it. Like, because I feel like I've paid like $70 for like an instructional video, like as part of some like Andrew Tate-esque like thought scheme. So like, I want to be informed.
All right. It all started 14 billion years ago. Ready? The Earth was formed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to say this. Like I've said this to so many people in my life, but I've never like, it's never been out there is the thing, you know?
Okay.
And now people are going to know, people would listen to this and they'll see the part of me that like you guys see where like I'm a madman.
Yeah, where you're insane. You don't.
Yeah, but they don't see that because like I can channel it into being like, I like Superman.
Yeah.
They don't see the part of me that's like a literal madman, do they?
Dude, I don't think so, but go.
Okay, ready?
I've been ready for so long.
Do you think there's aliens out there? I mean, apparently it was confirmed, but
apparently
do you personally think there's aliens out there?
I think there's something. I don't know if it would literally be like little gray dudes with gangly limbs and big black eye, but I think there is some form of life out there, even if it's like parasitic.
I'm gonna put this up there. Even if it's like a little tiny, like little thingy out there somewhere.
Yeah, like a little parasite.
You think we're not alone in the universe?
In the entire universe,
I'm
no.
putting my camera on.
I think there has to be some little, like even just a little flea kind of thing, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I think.
Okay.
I think
he's becoming the Joker. Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Incident. Here we go. Let me put my glasses on.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So here's what I think. I think that if you look at the Earth, okay, so think about how humans came to be, right? Do you believe in God?
No, I don't.
Oh, hot take.
Is it?
No, I don't either.
It might be a hot take in the United States. I think the United States is far more like religious than like Australia.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Well,
but here's what I think. I think that if you look at the way that like humanity evolved, right? Evolution. We were given so many like steps along the way, right? We were hit. The Earth was hit by an asteroid, however many billions of years ago, that put us off our axis, right? That gave us the moon, that wiped out the dinosaurs. But that was a different asteroid, but we can also use that one, right? Wiped out the dinosaurs. But I'm going to go with the one that gave us the moon first, right? It knocked us off our axis in a certain way to where something with the sun and yada, yada. It helped to create life on Earth, right? Then a dominant species came to rise on Earth. What were they? The dinosaurs. What happened to them? An asteroid hit them and wiped them off the
just
planet,
wiped
right?
the fuck out.
Yeah. And there's no way that humanity could have evolved under dinosaurs, obviously, right?
Are you saying it was all destiny that it led to this?
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying that if you look at all these like incredible things that happened, 1 in a billion things that happened to Earth to make it so that we could be people on this planet here talking to each other, it's so infinitely like impossible.
Yes.
But yet it happened. That I think that proves that we are here for no reason, right? we are the anomaly, right? Think about the universe, right? Think about the universe. This isn't like, we are here by a series of billions of cosmic flukes.
I 100% agree with you. We're not important, right?
Yes. And so when we talk about life out there,
Yeah.
I think that if we look at Earth and we look at how we as people have evolved, we're so smart that we think that this planet is ours, right?
Yeah.
And we've begun to not live in harmony with it. I don't think that this is the way that nature is supposed to be. I don't think that there's supposed to be a being or a species that is as intelligent as us because we are not coexisting with Earth.
No, we fuck it up.
Took it the fuck over.
Yeah.
You know, and we acted like we're more important than it.
No,
so I think
we're
if
the
you
villains
look at
of everything. We're the villains of the universe.
Exactly. This is not how this is supposed to be. There's no way that this is natural. You know, where we're both living right now used to be forest. It used to be somewhere where something else could live naturally.
Yes.
But yet we knocked it the fuck down and we built houses so that we could live there because we
knocked it the
deemed
fuck
ourselves
down just
more
so
important.
I could buy toys.
Exactly. We deemed ourselves more important than the earth, than the land that we live on. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the universe in general, this is not how it's supposed to be. I think there isn't life out there because we were given the keys and we fucked it up. and he's frozen now.
I'm not frozen. I'm here. I'm fine. It's all good.
There you are. Now you're here. You were frozen for me for a minute.
I'll cut it.
But anyway, my grand theory, the grand theory that I have is that this is not how nature is supposed to be. And I think that like aliens or anything, I think that we're so infinitely cosmically unimportant and so infinitely cosmically like lucky that we exist at all that this kind of proves that we're alone. This isn't how nature is supposed to be. And that's the grand theory.
I don't think that is that insane. I don't think that's.
I got to get my tinfoil hat.
I don't think that's. I think that's.
No, I know.
I think that's a fairly.
But I never
logical, normal conclusion.
Yeah, but here's the thing: people believe in God, Harper.
I know. I'm just like far be it from me to say that you shouldn't. I think that's fine too. But
we're not saying that like religion is stupid or anything. Yeah. It's just that it's not for us. I guess right because I think that like God exists in a like spiritual sense because people want to make sense of what we have.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and I think it's also that
and there are people people believe.
Sorry, I paused and then
we're having this conversation right now. This is crazy.
I think it's all built around the fact less that people can't process life. I think it's the fact that people can't process the absence of life and they need answers to answer what comes next. When really, I hate it. It gives me anxiety talking about this. Probably nothing. You know what I mean? It's just it is what it is. Like that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's really what it comes.
Well, yeah, it is what it is, and I think religion. I think it helps us. It helps us to cope with that. It helps people cope with that, and I think it's so much better that it exists. That it exists at all, because then like imagine this hopeless world where we had nothing to expect 100%. After death, right?
And also it provides it provides values. It provides like moral bases for people, comfort and and community, right? Religion is important, and we're not the type of people that are like religion is they're the people that are like religion is the #1 cause of war and death and in the history of the world. Whatever. I think humans would always find something to fucking kill each other over regardless.
Something. Yeah. Yes. And I think if there is a God out there, here's how I would view it, me personally. I think I could believe that like the universe is alive in a way. If you look at like the webs of like there's pictures and stuff, you see cosmic membrane and it looks like neurons. It looks like our brains.
Oh, this is getting
if anything that tells me that like
this is getting no.
I don't believe we're in the Matrix.
It sounds
I'm just
like
saying
that's
that I could wrap my head around there being something out there that is alive, that is like living and way more, like way larger than we can comprehend. I just don't necessarily think it's a God that created everyone. Yeah. I think there could, what I could believe in? Yeah. And this is like such a dumb example, but I could believe in a celestial, a big guy out there that is a God of some sort, that exists, didn't create everything, but exists and is far more larger and like on a cosmic scale than we are. I could believe in that. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Does that make sense?
I think that's interesting. I think I can sort of get behind the idea of like dimensional planes. I think I could buy into that, like things
Mhm.
existing on different planes of reality, and we
Well, I
obviously
mean,
could
that is how it
never
is. I mean, there's I mean, it kind of is like that a little bit. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, we have space, we have time, we have
yes.
gravity, we have all these things that do exist and warp our perception of like of reality.
Mm.
But are you talking about the multiverse?
I'm not talking about the multiverse. I'm more talking. I could believe that if there was another form of sentience in like the vast infinite universe, that even if we came into contact with it, would we actually be able to perceive it
Uh-huh.
visually, audibly? Like, I don't think that
Yeah.
we couldn't interact, we couldn't shake
Do you think
hands.
there's
Like,
things on a different yeah. Well, I mean, there's absolutely things out there that we as humans cannot perceive.
just physically can, and we can have the conversation right
Yeah.
here about the fact that we can't perceive them. But
I
if
mean,
we
think
were,
about how like
it would just melt our
dogs
brain.
I mean, dogs have like, their ears are so much more perceptive than ours. They
Mm,
can hear things we can't. That's like a
yes,
perfect example. Like our eyes aren't perfect.
dude,
They can see things that we can't.
we're both blind.
We're both, yeah,
We have to
exactly. I
put
got contact
we
lenses
have
to
to put
try to
utensils on our
pretend
face.
that I'm not a four eyes. You know what I mean? Like that's how blind we are. But it's like, we there are things that we can't perceive.
Yeah,
And have you ever heard there's a scientific thing or something. I
it's
forget
like
what it's called. It's
the
some
fourth
theory or
dimension
something like that
theory or
that
whatever.
says no. I'm talking about a theory that says like there's a possibility that like if we could perceive these things, it's possible that like whatever we're using to try, I completely lost it actually. I'm trying to explain it and I've completely lost it. There's a possibility that like the things we use that we assume would be able to tell us that these things exist also don't work. So these things do exist. Like we always try to theory can't prove everything. We
Yes.
try to put things into fact and we have science that tells us like this is how this works. It's also possible that those things don't work. You know?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I just think like
You know?
I just think it's so stupid. It's a cop out thing to say. We're never gonna know. And I think
Everything?
humanity until its death will never know.
Everything, you mean?
Well, like
What do you mean? No, what?
our place in the universe, the presence of
I think it's
other
irrelevant, our
entities.
place.
No. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, we've modeled
Yes.
ourselves as the
If there's
center of the
something
universe.
larger than us.
I don't think like there isn't nothing will ever answer. There could be people, a billion years from now, if we haven't completely destroyed the planet, which we will. I mean, the heat death of the
We'll be
universe
on a different planet.
will be on Mars. Yeah, Elon Musk will be the president robot of the United world. But
Yes.
I don't think
Hopefully.
we'll never. I mean, it's the same shit with ghosts. I mean, I come from a family that is extremely clairvoyant.
I come
My
from a family of
I
ghosts.
come from a family. I've like my grandmother used to be like a medium and would talk to like people in the afterlife for other people. Which when I say that sounds like
Ooh.
a great like sort of grift job. So well done, grandma. You rip those people off.
Good
No,
job taking money from grieving people, Harper's
yeah,
grandma.
yeah. Come on. I remember she told me once that like people would come to her and she'd go, I can't really control who I'd talk to, so they'd ask for this person, and I'd actually end up talking to someone else.
That's literally the
Which,
movie Talk to Me, by the way. That's literally that movie.
oh my God, she
Is
liked
she
them.
is that why she liked horror movies?
I don't know. I'll ask her.
There's
Oh
got to
wait.
be a correlation. Yeah, I don't think you can ask her
Oh,
anymore.
fuck. Well,
I,
they
I, I
like.
gotta I gotta tell you somebody.
Oh man. Well, they always told me like you're in this sort of thing. You'll definitely have paranormal experiences in your life. Nope,
Not once.
not once.
Yeah,
Don't
like I asked
believe
my
it.
mom if she believes in ghosts, and she says she has one memory of when she was a kid, and she like opened her eyes and she swears she saw like a little girl sitting on the edge of her bed. And I'm like, Mom, you don't think you were just tripping? Like that was a
Yeah,
dream,
yeah.
you know?
You weren't having like a psychotic moment. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I do have
And
one. I have one story where like a thing. It was just so
happened that you
like,
can't explain.
and it was like I can. I mean, I can explain exactly what it was, but it sounds so weird to like speak it and see if
What
people
was
can
it?
comprehend it. I remember I was in Adelaide in South Australia. I was in like a Woolworths, which is a supermarket. This is awesome. I hope we can have some paranormal chats and put this up on the on the fucking podcast.
This is a
channel.
good episode. Yeah,
So-
whatever this is
Tyler
good.
and Harper talking about ghosts in the universe. But
Talk
I was
about
in
the universe.
I was in this shopping center and I walked out, I like checked out, I bought whatever I was buying, I walked out and I never even looked at them. I don't know if it was a man or woman or whoever. There was a figure there. And when I say they were all black, I don't mean like any ethnicity. I mean like jet black, head to toe, a complete void, no features, no details, no anything. It was literally like if you took a photo and you cut out a person like stencil and filled that in black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the character that you haven't unlocked yet in the video game.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I remember
Yeah.
this just intense, and this was only like 3 years ago. Like I remember, it was Venom. It was Venom. It was Venom.
It was
But
it was Venom.
It was Tom Hardy as Venom. But I just remember this intense feeling of like anger and death and like afraid, like I am in like serious trouble right now. And I couldn't even look. I just had to keep walking. But it was like everything was just sucked in. It was like a black hole. And I just like walked out, got out of the supermarket and was just like, what the fuck happened there? No idea. Still can't explain it to this day. Like it was weird. And I don't think anyone was actually there. I think I was just losing my mind.
Do you think maybe someone was going back in time to put a tomato can on the top
On
shelf?
the top of the shelf, which would
And
actually
you saw like a fragmented version of the timeline, and they appeared for a second.
And it could be like maybe their dad was going to go to prison, but because he grabbed the
Yeah, and
tomato
he still
can on
goes
the
to
top
prison now.
shelf. Yeah, and it makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, that's my one creepy story. That's my one thing.
I don't have anything is the thing. I've never, and even if I have, which I can't think of, I don't think I would believe it. I
That's
don't
interesting.
think and it's not that I'm not open to it, because I could be open to spirituality and all that. Like I don't know if it's big in Australian culture, but you hear it a lot in American culture that we talk about zodiac signs and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I've gotten it explained to me, and there's so many people on the internet that are like, if she starts talking about zodiac signs, red flag. I like listening to it. I like hearing these things. I like getting other people's perspectives on what the fuck we are.
Yes.
I like that, right?
But don't
And
necessarily believe it.
Yeah, and I don't have to. I just like listening, right?
Exactly. 100%.
And I like I like listening to people and hearing what their perspective is, because there's so many people that think that we are like, do you think the soul is a thing? Do you think we have souls? That there's like some center of energy in us that actually is us, not our brains
like the
functioning
essence.
in like a clockwork way, but we have like an essence within us.
It's so
a spiritual essence that's like
so
larger than
weird. Because I would say, like, I'm not religious. I doubt the afterlife exists, and yet, like, there is something there. Yeah, there is something there. I don't know. I feel like we are just very complicated machines put together that make us believe that we have, like, we're not here, we're not anywhere. I mean, we're really we're here. Let's be real.
We
We're
are.
here.
Yeah, scientifically we are.
Sometimes I'm in my dick, but most of the time I'm up here, and I think that's
most
that's
of the time.
But like,
half the time.
It's like 90-10. You can decide which way that goes.
Just depends on the day.
Dude, doesn't it? Dude, up top, brother. But yes, maybe there's, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know.
Because I've heard people explain it, and they say that there's like some spiritual center to us, and I want to believe that.
Maybe that's it.
I like to believe that like there's something, I really want to believe in something bigger than us.
I'm the same way, but like
I feel like I haven't been shown it.
Yeah, I can't.
I want to believe it. I feel like I could. I just haven't been shown the thing that I can wrap my head around.
But I don't.
I can wrap my head around and it connects with me.
I think you're either a person that like is very easily open to it and can see any sign as, oh yeah, well there you go. Or it would take like the final moment of your life where something happens and you click and you go,
yeah, oh. God shows up and he goes, I was real. And you're going to hell because you didn't believe in me.
Yeah, like the wave.
You're like, fuck.
Jesus comes down with the ultimatum wave and we're like, oh, it was real.
Damn it.
God,
Yeah,
fuck, I
oh.
fucked that one up, didn't I? Yeah, like that.
Yeah, but he's supposed to forgive us. I
Yeah.
don't really know. I'm not up my Bible lore, unfortunately.
We don't do. Yeah.
Um, I do believe that like our brains warp things in a way to where we think that things are bigger than they are.
Yeah, fucking oath they do. It's called mental illness.
I know, but I believe in.
Yes.
I have this thing I like. It's called kismet, right? And it means
Yeah.
fate or destiny or whatever.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily believe that destiny is real. I don't
Neither do I.
necessarily believe that like fate is like things are meant to happen. I
Agreed.
think things do happen, and you can find the pieces and connect them.
Mm.
And I ultimately think that that's kind of what being a human is about.
Yep.
I ultimately think that like going back to the grand theory, I think if we're alone and our existence is meaningless, like on a cosmic scale, I think that that's all the reason that we have meaning. We have meaning
Yes.
because like we as people have emotions and feelings and we care about people and things. We bring meaning to this world.
Mhm.
I can't find meaning in anything other than us. And I guess that's what we're talking about.
This is very Superman.
You know?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it? Is it very
It's a
Superman?
bit
I
Superman.
guess. Yeah. But I can't find meaning in anything other than us. I can't find meaning in anything other than like we as people exist, you know? And I guess that's what the thing
That's
is
interesting.
I want to believe that people and humans and humanity is like the best form of sentience that exists. You know? I believe that.
I think it's interesting.
It's crazy.
There is the idea in my head that obviously, you know, in I don't know, how old am I? I'm about to be 26. So in like 10 years when
80,
I'm
right?
dead, when I'm fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bug on the wall.
You know, like life and meaning is just our perception of it. Like, you know, your perception of life around you means nothing to my perception of my life around me. Even though we're
Yeah, and I think
connected,
that's
we're friends, and we're
I
talking.
think that's fine.
I know, I think that's fine, but I also think there's
Oh, yeah,
no. I
no.
mean, there's no other way to do that. But I also still think like when I'm gone, my existence was meaningless. But like, what if every sentient person on this planet is gone? Maybe you're just left with I don't know animals and water and
Nature takes back.
caves.
I
Yeah,
mean, what is it that we all read or watched Jurassic Park, bro? Nature
yes,
finds a way.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And that I think that is. I mean, like you said before, that's the natural state of things. Circle of life shit. Things feeding on shit,
Yeah.
feeding on shit, feeding on shit
Well,
in a circle,
it's
not
because we're not so.
making a
I don't know
parking
if
lot.
exactly. I don't know if we're supposed to be this smart. I mean, like on a natural scale. Like it kind of the path was paved for us as people. You know, it was very easy for us in a way to evolve how we did. It took a long time, but that's how that works. You know,
Mm.
and I think that because it was so simple, we have evolved to a state that is unnatural.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and like, and
I don't know.
even if you look at humans in general, the way we've evolved, but the way we've taught ourselves to evolve, so that every next generation of the same species is
Yeah.
so much smarter than the other. I mean, like, we take it for granted the shit, like us talking on Zoom right now, we take for
Yeah, no,
granted
I
what
think
it
about it
is.
all the
But
time.
the fact that it got here and the
People
fact that
started by hitting sticks.
it's fucking insane. And like,
Yeah.
if that's the level we can achieve, I mean, there's an argument to be made that we made a lot of progress across time, and then in this more modern era, things aren't as progressed
Well,
because we've hit a certain point.
I think that's the opposite. I think we didn't progress. We kind of stayed where we were for a little
And then
bit. And in
progressed
the
too
last
quickly.
150s,
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
That's true.
what's it called? The Industrial Revolution.
Industrial, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that almost could be the issue kind of with a modern society is that we evolved so quickly
Yeah.
that like our society didn't, you know? And
Fuck,
and
wow.
I don't know if we're gonna get into like a social, whatever. There's so much we could say about society these days. But I think that like you said, people we evolved and we pass on what we know to the next generation and whatnot. And we just get smarter and smarter. I know people are like, we're the dumbest we've ever been. People are so stupid, but we really aren't.
No, we're not.
We're the smartest we've ever been. We're the most alive we've ever been. We're the most everything we've ever been as people, and it'll only progress. You know, I want to believe that at least.
No, I think
That
it's
it'll
again.
only
I think it will progress until it all falls apart inevitably, and neither
yeah
of us will.
until someone presses the button and we nuke each other. We're gonna continue to
I was gonna
progress.
say which we won't see in our lifetimes, but We might.
We could.
we
We
could.
might. It's whatever.
Feasibly, we could.
It's
Yeah.
whatever, I guess.
I had a thought before. I've completely lost it, and it would have been a
I don't
great
know.
topic.
This
Yeah.
is crazy. This is a crazy talk.
We've never had a conversation like this before. I mean, we've had
That's because we don't.
talks, but we don't we
Yeah.
don't have talks like this. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy getting into I like I told you about like how a year ago my brain went fucked and my perception of reality pretty much
Yeah.
died for a little while. It's like it's taken me so long to get back to that. And since then, you know that dude that stuck his head in like the particle accelerator and one particle
Yes.
and it changed his personality?
Uh, um, I think you're thinking of the guy who got hit in the head. He got stabbed through the brain, and he became very angry.
No. The particle accelerator.
That's
dude
Phineas Gage. But okay, I do know who you're talking about, though.
the particle accelerator guy. Remember, his family said that he'd become like more irritable and very short, and he like.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same guy. I think it was. Wasn't it like he fell through like a crow, like a something stabbed him through the eye?
No, we're talking about.
Are you not talking about Phineas Gage?
No, I'm not talking about Phineas Gage. Or maybe I am. Who knows? Maybe who knows? But anyway, like that is what
he survived. A large iron rod was driven through his head, completely destroying much of his brain's frontal lobe, and for that injury, reported effects on his personality and behavior over the remaining 12 years of his life.
That is definitely not the person that I.
His friends saw him as quote no longer Gage.
That's not the dude.
I do know what you're talking about, though.
But like that is.
It was a crowbar.
That guy. That's kind of like what I became. Before I had sort of all of that, I was, always like terrified of death and couldn't comprehend life, and like it was so overwhelming. And I think maybe that is what happened. Is my mental health got so bad that it literally snapped me back to a state of like, okay, well, is what it is. You know what I mean? And like that's what I've been ever since. And it's weird. It's like not being as present in life, but it's like all of these barriers that have set me up to become like a regular functioning person in society instead of this anxious ball of thinking. And it's so weird that the brain does that. Like the brain broke itself so that it could build me back to be a normal person.
I guess I understand exactly what you mean. Like my fear of death has completely gone away. And it's not that I'm like suicidal or like I'm like, oh, just I don't care if I die tomorrow. Like obviously I care if I die, but I'm not necessarily scared of what it means or what happens or anything like that anymore. And I've come to the conclusion that like I like to what I've realized about myself and what I think, I don't know, it's that I have a general sense of like I think we can relate to this feeling, right? The two of us, and I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this podcast and a lot of people, I mean, it's kind of, so it's people that listen to or that read comic books or, love art. We feel like outsiders and we feel like we don't belong in society. We feel like we can't relate to other people. And the only way that we can relate to people is through the characters or the stories that we like. And that's why we find solace in them, right? And I have kind of realized that, like, even if I can't necessarily relate to every person I meet, or a lot of the times any people you meet, that I am fascinated by them nonetheless. I'm fascinated by people.
Yes.
And like why they make the decisions they make. And it's a lot of the reason why I don't really get angry or mad at people or anything like that. Because I can always just kind of wrap my head around like you're a person who makes
you've lost me now.
I know, but I don't, right? It's like I don't really get mad or stressed or anything like that. And I've had a lot of cases where people find it like the weirdest thing. Like I lost my wallet on the bus a couple of weeks ago. And this person I was with, she was like, how are you not freaking out right now? Yeah. And I was like, I'll find it or I don't, it's whatever.
I wish I could have that perception. That's crazy.
Yeah. And she's like, I would be screaming and crying. I'm like, well, that's not how you find it, is it?
I was going to say, I wouldn't be that. I'm somewhere in between both of us.
But it's either way, it kind of the point stands where like, I don't get that, but the stress or anything, it doesn't really hit me anymore because I'm just so like fascinated by the world we live in where I'm just like, it's whatever. It'll roll off my back, like I'll wake up tomorrow and it's a new day that we're living, and at least we're here. And I think that we become so caught up in our issues and our like, in our faults and our problems and everything that happens. And life is not easy, and to live is to suffer. That's kind of what we have realized to existing, there's so much wonder in this world.
Yeah,
There's so
fucking
many things that
and
you can just look at and be like, that's incredible that that exists, or this is incredible that this
yes.
person exists.
Yep.
It's and I'll bring up Watchmen for a second. Remember when he's talking to is it Lori?
Laurie, yeah, and he
And yeah,
rediscovers the love for like,
that life, yeah, exactly,
yeah,
where he says, the
you're a
fact that your
cosmic
father,
anomaly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
your father was this person who you hated and your
Mm,
mother hated, and yet you are that child. The fact that
exactly.
you exist is a billion to one cosmic fluke. And
Yep.
she says, like, can't you say that about everyone? And he goes, I
Holy
guess so. Like,
shit.
and he,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He rediscovers his love for life. And
Yeah.
I'm not to say that we're Dr. Manhattan or we're so disconnected from humanity,
No.
but it is true
Yeah.
that, like, the fact that any of this exists in the first place is something to celebrate.
Yeah.
And we
I
get so mad and
100% agree.
we put ourselves into like um classes and everything, and the world has kind of built itself into a hierarchy where there are people that are below others, and it is unfortunate and it is
It
not how it
sucks.
should
Yeah.
be.
No.
But when you think about how people are and the fact that we have this at all, I think it's fascinating.
It is
I'm
crazy.
not
It
saying it's
doesn't.
amazing, but
No,
it's
no, no,
fascinating.
no. You're right. It's like, obviously awful things still exist, but it's the fact
Yeah.
that I mean, look, we're extraordinarily privileged, and like the
Yes.
fact that a lot of this, a lot of the joy, a lot of everything we find. I mean, obviously, I had some shit happen over the last few months, and like rediscovering myself, rediscovering a love for life, going outside. Like, I know people say touch grass is a joke, but dude,
Yeah,
going
it's the best.
outside, walking through nature, doing things for yourself, being
Yeah.
alive and
I do it
knowing
every
that
week.
you're alive, it is the greatest feeling, and you have to make that
Listen,
shit happen for yourself.
yes, I have the privilege of living in the most alive city on the planet. So
Yes,
if
you
I
do.
ever feel alone or like, there's no hope or anything, you could just go the fuck outside and I can just see these people who are living their lives. And it's actually beautiful.
Yeah.
You see people happy. Like last year, I have this tree that I like to sit under in Washington Square Park. I talk about Washington Square Park all the damn time because I love it. It's like, for me, it's like I literally the center of the universe. Everything amazing happens there, right? Um, and I used to sit under this tree and just sit and just watch, right? And last year, while I was sitting there one day, two people got married
Wow.
right there,
What the fuck?
right? Yeah, they got married at the park right next to my tree. And I was just watching it and I was like, the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm so, like, mesmerized by there's all these people that exist. And these two people who are just faces in a crowd are experiencing what is supposed to be the happiest day of their life,
Yeah,
and they're going to
exactly.
go off, and I'm assuming that they're still married and they're in love or whatever right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That exists on the scale, like that exists on a scale we can't even fucking comprehend.
And you experience it only in that, like, that infinitesimally small moment of, like, you'll never see those people again. You'll
Nope,
never know the rest of their story, but
never.
you shared sort of, tangentially.
And a very important moment of their life.
Yeah,
I
and
got to
like,
be a part of that with them
that's
in
fun.
in some way.
What are your thoughts on speaking things into existence? Because I think it's
I do
partially
it all the
horse.
time. We know that I do it all the time.
Well, you do, but I also think I think it's horse shit. I think what people really mean by that is and I've done it. I mean, God, I was the most self-destructive person I've ever known in my life. But speaking things into existence is a fancy way of saying I've talked myself into making a decision that has then affected whatever going forward. That's really what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking things
Mhm.
into existence is not actually this is going to happen and then it happens. It's this is going to happen. My brain has made me think it's going to happen. Therefore, every micro
Yeah.
action I make is going to then
So I will
lead
make it
to that.
happen.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
Yeah.
I just I think I'm very Kyle Reese in that there is no fate but what we make.
Oh,
I
geez, I
just
thought you meant Kyle Rittenhouse for a second. I
no,
was like,
God,
what are
God,
we
no,
what
God,
are
no,
we
no, no,
doing?
no, Terminator, Kyle Reese, Michael Bean.
Yes.
No, it's just, I don't believe in there being, like you say, like a cosmic plan or like any sort of. There's no narrative here. Things happen, and I think it's silly to get caught up in. I know people do it to cope, but I think it's silly to go, oh, if only this had happened this way, or if only this had
Yeah.
done a second later here or there, and blah blah
If it
blah.
had happened that way, then so
Yeah,
many more things would be different that we can't even
exactly.
comprehend.
Think existence is exactly right here and right now. It is not the thing that's about to happen,
Yeah.
and it's not the thing that just happened. It is this, and that's
Yeah.
it.
And I think we get taught this lesson sometimes that like life is unfair, right? That's what we get told.
Hmm.
And I don't like that. I don't think that's true because I think life just is. It's not
Yeah,
fair. It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
unfair.
Yeah.
It just exists. Like it just happens,
I
and
mean,
it's our
it's
it's our
more fair for
perception and it's
some
what
or
we
less fair for others,
yeah.
but you know, it
And
is.
it's what we can do with what we have that makes it fair or not.
Mm,
And obviously, I mean, that's not a set rule. People have things and they get taken away for no reason, or people don't
yes.
have things and they gain them for no reason. And that's just it. That is just life, and that
Mm.
just happens.
We're
I
talking
don't
from the
think it's
perspective
fair
of
to
people that
label.
obviously we're in, you know, control. We have free will. We live in places where we can
Yes.
exercise that will. Obviously, you know, they're the extremes of the world where people do not have those choices. That's, I mean, that's
Yeah.
not really what you're talking about or meaning.
Yes. I can't speak to that because I can't
No,
relate
and
to that.
neither of us can't. Fuck no. Like
Yeah.
we sit here in our rooms surrounded by a bunch of fucking action figures of people in tight costumes. Like we've had fortunate lives, and yet, you know, it's still, I mean, that's the human condition, isn't it? It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how bad or how good you have it in relation to others. It is only in relation to yourself,
You
and that's
just
what you
yeah,
talk
you just
about.
have it.
Yeah.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
And I think today we get caught up in guilt. We get caught up in like, oh, I if someone else doesn't have this and I do, that's not fair.
Hmm.
I think we just have to accept what we have.
I think
It's not fair to look at yourself like that.
you can't live. Unfortunately, the only way to live, and I don't think either of us necessarily live extremely happy lives all the time, but like those people that are
I don't think anybody does.
really happy all the time and have great lives and feel confident and joyous, it's ignorance is bliss. You have to you do tune those things out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. You have to tune the shit out. It fucking sucks. Like it actually sucks, but it's the only way that people can function and live sometimes is just not my thing. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's all
it.
noise.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean,
We
that's really it. That's fucked up.
yeah.
It's fucked up, but it's
Wow, I just
the
thought of
human
something. I
condition.
completely lost it.
That's what we should call this on YouTube, just the
The
human
human
condition.
condition.
And people will be
Yeah.
like, "What?
What is this?
Are we going to talk about Ezra
Yeah.
Miller as the Flash or not?"
I just lost my train of thought as well. I had
I mean, that's
I
what
don't
these
know.
kind of conversations do, is it not? Like, it's so
Yeah.
many big thoughts that they swirl around until you're like,
Yeah, what this is
I don't
crazy.
know.
We're supposed to be talking about comic books.
Yeah, I mean, we started off before. I'll probably cut this part out, but we started off by talking about Quentin Tarantino movies.
Oh yeah, the pussy wagon.
Yeah, the pussy wagon. Now I have to include it, otherwise the pussy wagon
Yeah.
makes no sense. Now I have
Just
to
call the
include
episode
it.
the pussy wagon, yeah.
Yeah, the human condition, the pussy
Slash
wagon.
the pussy wagon. That'll get people in. I like you mentioned how when I saw those people getting married and I like shared a moment with them, right?
Yeah.
And you have to think about how often in your life, like we have people that we spend so much time with,
Mm.
and we either keep them or we lose them or whatever. But you
Yeah.
have to think about like the scale of the time we spend with people. Like,
Oh yeah.
is there like I guess what I'm trying to say is we often look back at things and we can, nitpick what we did or how did this end up the way it did or whatever. But really, all that matters, I feel, at the end of the day is that we lived it and we move on. Like
100%.
I've read this thing yesterday and I'm not even like I like to just read people. Like I love Reddit because I
Yeah.
love just seeing people talk to other people. It's just fascinating, right?
Yeah.
And I saw this guy on some subreddit. It's probably like Ask Reddit, some generic one where he said like, it was the classic thing. We've all been through this where it was like, this girl I really liked, she doesn't like me, and can we still be friends? And this guy said, and it was like some top tier shit. Like I wish he was my dad or something. He said, you won't get back a second of time you waste spending time on her, right?
It's true. You've got
And
to know what you
it
want
is
as an
true,
individual. You got to know what you want as an individual.
and in a way that is a shame. Like if we look back and we think about the time we wasted on people that now mean nothing to us,
Yeah.
right? And in a way we can look at it and go like, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe that was, however long of my life, right?
Mm.
But I like to look at it as like, it happened, it is what it is, and it it's kind of, it's what forges you into who you are now. Like I a year ago was like, I felt like I was nothing or nowhere, and
Mm.
today I feel like I'm not to say that, like, we as people we're ever evolving, and we're never like at some level of, peak. We never like peak as people, I don't think.
No.
um or I don't think we're supposed to, at least. I like to think that right now I'm at some level of acting how I should be.
The best
I'm
you've
at
ever
some
been?
level of, but maybe not, but I am at some level of like peace or whatever with myself. I'm like, I know exactly who I am. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know how people see me. I know how to do all this. And I'm almost grateful for all the things that have happened in my life that have kind of like pushed me into realizing this.
Yeah.
And, it's tough. And in the moment, it's the worst thing ever. But when you can look back at it and you can go, like, this has just led me to be, you know, a better version of myself. Life is amazing like that. That
Yeah.
we can take those things and we can turn them into something wonderful.
I
You
like
know, this
I
is
have
again, this is so weird that we're
it,
having this.
oh, it
This
is,
is
but I have like this thing like when I when that year ago when I got sick and I was like, ugh, I always had that, those moments you think back on. Like I have a moment I remember
water.
watching the fourth episode of What If, the Doctor Strange episode. It's when
Great
he's like
episode.
absorbing
Best
all.
episode.
It is the best episode, but it's when he's like absorbing all the other creatures and blah blah blah. I just remember like sitting in this bed, the sunlight was like streaming through. It was like that, when people say that 2016 lighting, you know what I mean? That nostalgia
Yeah.
lighting. It was like that streaming through. Like
Yeah,
I
my
remember,
2016 wasn't that great, but I understand what people are saying.
yeah, like
My 2019 was everyone's 2016.
yeah, mine was fine. Oh, 2019, that backed up on some that went straight into
No,
but like
that was the year for me.
I even have like a video, like it's like only like 14 seconds, but it's of that moment because it's like it sticks out so prominently in my head as this nostalgic moment. And when I got ill, for lack of a better term, I couldn't create those moments. Like in my head, I wasn't living any like important nostalgic moments that I would look back on. I saw that was an orb. Yeah, an orb
Yeah,
float past.
right?
You had an orb, yeah.
That's what I
So
was talking about earlier. That was off the podcast, but I kept saying that there was like something that, like, yeah, I don't know, it's
I
dust,
mean,
I guess. All right.
it's a dust
It's on
particle. That's
video now. It's on
um
video.
um but like, for a long time I had those and like ever since, certain things happen, I've been able to do that stuff again and realize that it really is just he's remembered the splendors of life. You know what I mean? And I have so
Yeah,
many
yeah,
of those
exactly.
moments where like, even like a week ago, I look back on something and I go, oh man, that was such a good like moment or blah, blah, blah. And you realize like, oh shit, I have the ability to do that all the time for things that I enjoy. They don't need to be
Yeah.
big things, but you can find these moments where you go, yeah. And that shit is
But
so
and
good.
I've
And I
I've been
feel
able
that.
to like kind of manage that through everything. And I love it,
I
you
also
know?
agree with you completely about like obviously, I had what an almost 6 year relationship that fell apart. And I think it fell apart for the right reasons. I think it was, people have to make decisions when they realize that things aren't working. You get complacent, you know what I mean? You become friends instead of,
Yeah.
partners with someone. And that is what it
Yeah,
is.
I know exactly how you feel.
And like now looking back on it, what, 4 months out, it's not even that long, but I look back and I go, yeah, like I don't have any regrets. I'm not like sad about it. And I'm not like regretting the time that I lost. I'm more just like, that was a period of my life. And we kind of
Yeah.
forget how much life, barring something tragic happens, but statistically speaking, most of us aren't going to face horrendous things like that out of nowhere. Um,
Mhm.
Jinx, I'm going to touch wood so that I don't get shot
Yeah.
in the head. But like, like now it's just it's a chapter. You got to look
Whatever.
at life. Life is literally like a book, man. You go, okay, that was chapter 27 or whatever, and I'm moving on to the
Yeah.
next thing. And you
And
just,
I think that's exactly what it is, because I think I've completely, I think I think I know exactly what you mean. I feel like I've entered a new one,
yeah, 100%. I mean,
entered a new chapter. I
I've,
think I used to have, like, at school especially, just like the craziest anxiety about speaking to anyone. And I was convinced
Mm.
that not only was it not something I wasn't good at, it was not something I was meant to do. I'm like,
oh
I'm not
wow,
meant to be like a social person or speak to these people. Like, I'm not supposed to do this. And so I'm like, I shouldn't try, right? And nowadays I'm just like, like I told you yesterday, I just made a friend on a park bench, and
Yeah.
he's messaging me today about like if I play PlayStation. I just met this guy yesterday out of
Yeah.
nowhere, right? And I've had situations like that happen many times over the past couple of months where I just meet someone
Yeah.
because I put myself out there and I've decided like, no, I can be social, I can be a person, like I exist, and it's not like selfish for me to kind of proclaim that I exist and
No.
take up some space in the world.
No,
You know,
like you are making yourself the
and
author of your own shit, man. You're putting yourself out there. You're making
want to see
your
something? You want to see
existence.
something?
Oh,
You just created a kismet moment.
oh, did I? Are
Yes,
you
because I
writing?
have this.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm the author of my. Yep, 100%,
I
100%.
have this
Yep,
on my bookshelf.
yeah,
Like it
hundred
kind of just
percent.
looks at me every day,
Well,
you
that's
know.
funny because I
And
have the same. No.
and yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Is like we get caught up so much in like the what ifs or the like I shouldn't do this because I'm scared. We get caught like I love this line from Dune. I'm gonna use a Dune line, but it's that fear is the mind killer, right? And
Yeah,
it's absolutely true, right? There's nothing good about fear, really. Like, sure, it could keep us alive, but how many times in the modern day are we really facing a life or death scenario? Fear just keeps us back from doing what we want to do,
yeah,
right?
yep,
Once you get over that, and once you push past that and you realize, like, all that matters is this moment right now. It doesn't matter the moment 10 seconds after or the
mm,
moment 10 seconds ago or anything like that. What matters is just what I do in this moment. Then you kind of drop that weight and you live, you know,
yes, yes.
instead of just watching or existing, you live. And
It's the
it's
line between.
awesome.
Yeah, it's the line between thinking about the past, thinking about the future. Is that just being in the moment? And I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds cheesy to say, but like, I mean, I haven't talked about this much to you, but like, my life changed so much drastic. I mean, breakups are breakups. They suck. They are what they are. But it's crazy how much it does change
They
your
are.
life. Whereas, like 6 months ago, if you said to me, "Hey, let's go for like a walk somewhere," I'd be like, "Fuck that! I could stay in bed and read Iron Man." You know what I mean? And then you realize how much time you actually
Yeah.
have to do things. And like now, I've been doing this for 5 weeks. I've been drinking fucking like exercise or weight loss shake shit. I've been running, I've been walking, I've been going outside. I've lost like 5 kilos. I'm averaging losing a kilo a week at the moment. And I feel great about myself. I feel like I've completely changed the way I look at me and life. Like I looked at
Still no
myself for
Riz though.
25, zero Riz. That is true. Although I'm putting myself back out there,
Just because
that's
you're born with it, baby.
that's
Or you
yeah. Yeah, some of that stuff's going all right. But again, it's like it's just taking things as they are. I I went from 25 years. I mean, as a baby, I wasn't thinking this, but for in purpose of the argument, for 25 years, I went by like the motto of like, well, I can't change shit about myself. It just is what it is. And then you kind of
yeah.
go, actually, I have a lot of power to do a lot of different
I'm
things
the
for
only
me.
person that can.
Yeah, exactly 100%. And you can make all of those choices for yourself at any moment. At any moment. It literally is a snap in the synapses in your head, and you go, oh yeah. And then it's just completely different, and you can do whatever.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The shit that we can
Yeah.
achieve
You
is
know, like
fucking incredible.
I know. And I just I don't know if we should tell the audience nobody's listening this long into this,
I don't think so.
whatever this is.
Yes.
But like that thing you really want to do,
Just do
just
it.
do it.
Do it.
Who cares?
She'll either say no or she'll fuck you. Just do it.
Yes. Generally, that is the
It
binary.
probably is. It
Yes.
probably is a woman. It probably is you going after a girl.
Yeah.
But straight up, straight
Um,
up, straight up.
yeah.
Just go for it. You just
And if
have
it
to.
doesn't work, like, fuck it.
What
Who
have you lost?
cares?
If it doesn't work, what have you lost? The only thing you've done is
Yeah.
prevent the loss
How
of further
many
time of thinking about it.
embarrassing moments have we had in our lives where we
Oh,
tried something and it failed, right?
how many
So
embarrassing moments
many.
have I had on this podcast? Like, you know
I
what I mean?
know.
But you just got to
Yeah.
move
I
forward.
said The
Like,
Flash was going to be a great movie.
yes,
Yeah. No,
exactly.
but yeah, you just kind of roll with it, man. Like, I'm trying to think of like the most embarrassing moments in my life. Like,
Oh,
that
I could.
moments that
Oh,
like
they're all in my
in
head.
the moment, you're like, oh, this is I'm never gonna recover.
Mm.
You know, like um One time, here we go. This is gonna be fun.
Oh, this is
One
excellent.
time I was at school and I just saw this girl and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Right.
Oh,
Um,
this might
and I went up
render
to
the
her.
people you've just told to like go for it. Like, oh, maybe I
I
shouldn't.
know, but yes, yeah, that's true. But I said like I might have said something simple like, hey, you know, you're really pretty.
Mm.
And she said, she looked at me in the eyes and she went, thank you. And she walked the fuck off. And I was like,
Mm. Yep.
okay,
Yeah,
you
saw that
know,
coming.
and you know what? I'm alive, right? I
Yeah, you
made
did
it.
it.
You know
Yeah,
how long,
exactly.
like in the moment, I probably went back to my room and I was like, what am I doing? You know,
Yeah.
but today, I mean, it's a memory.
Yes,
And that's all
exactly.
these things will ever be.
I think people, and it took me a long time to realize it. I mean, it took literally my mid-20s to realize it. You remember the shit about you a million times more than anyone else is going to. The only person who is remembering these embarrassing
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
you've
There's no way
done or
she
said,
remembers that.
yeah, no one gives a shit. And even if they do remember, they don't care. You know what I mean? They're the
Yeah.
only
And
thing
you'll never know.
holding the only embarrassment you are facing is the self-deprecation from yourself for
I know.
whatever
And
you've
we as
done.
people, we feel great shame or embarrassment. Like it is a feeling we get, and I understand. But you know, fear is the mind killer, bro.
Mm.
You know, we can move past these things, and we always do.
Yep,
You know,
100%.
enough said.
Enough said, I guess. Damn. Who is gonna listen to
This
no
was
one? It makes me
someone
wonder.
will listen to this.
Do we put it up
Should we
on?
like? Should we give a word and be like, if you listen to this, message Kismet?
Oh, that's perfect. That's
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah.
Kismet.
Yes, we know.
Message it to the hero story or to me, I guess. I don't know.
So yeah, I
But
don't
I
know.
want to know who made it this far. I don't even know
Someone
how
made it
long
that
this
far. It's
was.
crazy. Anyway, live life. I
Yeah,
guess.
just live.
Just
Don't
live.
experience or no, that's not what I mean.
Don't
Don't
experience.
no, what I meant to
Don't
say,
live.
I'm trying to think of what the word is. Oh God. Don't like, sit on the sidelines and like absorb
Yeah.
the earth.
Don't
Just
look
live it.
back in
Live your
anger.
life.
I heard you say like that.
Yeah.
I guess I probably should
Um
stop it there. I don't
Good
know.
episode. Good whatever this is.
Yeah, that was the Human Condition episode 1.
Oh, either Kismet or Pussy Wagon. Either one.
Oh, oh, that's good. Pussy Wagon's a great one because out of context, you'll get the
God.
notification. You'll look at your phone and be like, "Pussy
Pussy
Wagon."
Wagon. Yeah, that's so good.
But Kismet feels like it
Wow.
has more meaning because yes,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
like that one too.
What the fuck was this?
I don't know. I'm gonna stop it now. You want to say anything
Yeah.
else?
Um. No.